You know, when I first said it, I was just talking about the fact that it's just the symbols. Like I wasn't even thinking about all this stuff that you guys are arguing about. You guys have turned this into something else.
Josh is literally dodging the question.
Are you fucking trying to coerce him into fucking saying it?
No, I'm not. I'm trying to be unbiased, you bitch.
I sent Josh the same thing, and he responded with the words "two swords."
Like I said,
Yes.
the exact thing I told you he'd say, because it doesn't. There's no evidence directly to support that it's a fucking Mongol weapon. There's nothing. You're just fucking projecting it. Same way I'm projecting that it's fucking katanas, because it's my own view from it. You're not wrong in your stance, but I'm not wrong in my stance. Until a fucking outside source that is completely devoid of both of us that worked on the fucking game can speak on it, Ben, neither of us are correct, technically. Neither of us are correct.
So much evidence.
No, it's not. It's all from your point of view that you say. None of it is legitimate fact that somebody said. It isn't. Everything that I said isn't legitimate fact. But it's what I genuinely believe. I do not see two Mongol weapons there. I see two katanas clashing because of the duels in the game. That's legitimately what I see.
They're obviously not Mongol fucking katanas. Too big, too girthy. I can prove it to you. There's a reason why, when it comes to katanas, the width of the blade is not supposed to be bigger than the width of the handle. That's why the fucking Mongol sword, it's bigger than the width of the fucking handle.
Oh, they could have just done that
Look
because
at what
it
Josh
looks
said.
better.
I wouldn't think it was two swords clashing. I would think it's just double swords on an icon.
He's not saying it's two swords from a fucking
and that's
enemy,
all
though.
I was talking about. Those like when I first said this to you guys, I was literally just saying, like, this looks like two crossing swords, a shield, a big guy, and a tip of a spear. I did not mean this to turn into all of this. This is just an observation that I thought was cool. God damn it.
Like, it's just like I have so much evidence to go against your evidence.
It's not
and you
legitimate
still believe
evidence,
in your shit. Yes.
It isn't legitimate evidence.
Yes.
No, it isn't.
I can give. Okay, let's just agree on this. Let me agree on everything, and then see what you don't agree on.
What
Circle,
what is that evidence?
Mongol shield, right? You can't. That's like 100% true.
But there are
You cannot
spears in the
disagree.
thing. There are spears in
Okay.
the triangle icon.
No.
That doesn't
Don't
match
get
it.
too far ahead. Mongol shield, right? That's circle. It's circle because it's a Mongol shield. It's a round circle. That's why they probably put that together.
I'm pretty sure the bandits
You would
use
think,
the same
oh,
thing
that's not
too.
a coincidence. They did that on purpose. You would not think any other thing else, right? If you don't think that, then I don't know. Triangle. They have a halberd. That's a Mongol weapon. They have two other spears on the side because it's a Japanese weapon. But the main thing is the halberd because that's a Mongol weapon. It's to lead the point. Triangle. It's on the top. Brutes are square. Square armor. Makes sense. Square. Two swords clashing. I don't really give a fuck, honestly. But they're crossing. It's an X. Hey, look at that. Every symbol coordinates with the shape of the buttons.
They
at
fucking
that.
don't. They don't.
Oh, is that a coincidence? No, definitely not. I would say that on purpose. It's a style
Fucking,
design.
you are reaching so hard for it.
That is not reaching.
Yes,
You are
it is.
reaching so much for a coincidence, honestly.
So you're telling me that just because the enemies are kind of big, like all of them, like the only thing that's different from a brute than like a normal guy is just how tall they are. They have the same statue. It doesn't matter how boxy they are. All the enemies are the same box. Like it doesn't change anything. You're just speculating. You're taking a piece.
Speculating.
You're taking a jigsaw piece in the middle of a wide open jigsaw, placing it in the middle of the floor where all the corners are done, and you're placing it right in the middle and be like, "Yep,
Andrew,
that fits there," because nothing else collides with it. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing.
You see a square, what do you think of? Oh, I think of a fucking brute. Look
No,
at that.
you
Look at that
don't!
picture.
No,
Okay,
you
Andrew,
don't.
of all the buttons, what the fuck where does a brute belong? A
It's
circle?
not-
He's round?
it's
Is
not-
that-
it's
is that-
not
hey,
coordinated.
Andrew, does a brute
Again?
belong in X?
You're saying that it has to be
it belongs in a
coordinated.
triangle. That's where
You're
that's
saying
the
that it
Mongol-
has
that's where
to
it
be
belongs.
coordinated.
That's where it belongs.
That's what's
That's why they
tripping you up.
made. That's why they
That
made
is
the
what
design.
is tripping you up, Ben. You are
That's
saying
why
that
they made
it has to be that way. So what else could it be but square? Because they're all boxy and everything. When it's not the case, it's just a coincidence that the X and the circle match. It's just a coincidence, Ben. It
It's not
literally
a
is.
coincidence at all. That fucking all. Andrew,
go
why
tweet.
did they not?
Go tweet
what,
at a sucker punch.
What
and
you're
go find
saying
out
for
then.
this coincidence? No. Fuck no. Like, you're
just
so fucking
It's
stubborn.
just speculation. It's just speculation.
It's
There's no
not
clear
speculation.
evidence. Yes, it
when
is because they
other
don't all
people
match.
notice it, and like, oh fuck, that's a great detail. That's some great detail. What? That's a coincidence? No. That's
Yes,
not
it is a
fucking
coincidence. People think alike, Ben.
Oh, you think it's
People
so?
think alike.
So you think it's 100% a coincidence?
I don't think it's out of the question, but based on the fact that the square and the triangle just don't line up in the way that I'm seeing in the way
Because they're
that
Mongols. I think that it does.
they could have easily changed it in a way that it would have made sense though. That's
Like,
the thing.
fuck, Andrew, you are so fucking stubborn. Holy fuck. You are so stubborn.
But Ben,
You're
listen
so
to me.
stubborn.
Listen to me. Why would they, if they were aiming for that, why not just change it so that it more directly lines with it?
Changed how? Changed how?
Honestly,
Change
the
what?
better way, a better way to
change
do
what?
it. They just changed the icons to where it actually makes sense. Like legitimately, what they could have done is just zoom in on one of the spears because they're legitimately called spearmen, Ben. They're legitimately called spear. Nobody would have gotten confused if they just had a giant spear and maybe gave like the lowest ranked
'cause it's a
Mongol guy
Mongol weapon.
an actual spear. Then guess what, Ben? What they could have easily done was they could have just gave the lowest ranked Mongol guy a spear and it would have counted as a Mongol weapon. Then they could have just had it as that, and then instead of having the
Mongol guys,
giant X on
no.
his thing, they could have just
Mongol
given
guys
him a
use
giant.
halberds, Andrew. They use halberds. That's why they showed the fucking halberd.
They could have easily just used a spear, though. They could have, if they were trying for this, they could have just
Mongols
changed
don't
it
use
then.
spears. They use halberds.
They could have made them use spears, though. It's not like an uncommon weapon. It's just the Japanese simply
Only Japanese
a
use
Mongol
spears.
guy could have easily used a spear. It's kind of out of the question that a Japanese guy would have used a halberd because it's not really like their type of thing. But a Mongol guy could have easily used a spear. A spear is not very like. A spear is less advanced than a halberd. A halberd is like.
Yeah, but the Mongol guys, they don't use spears, do they?
But they could have easily made it so that they did to where it would have fit with it, though, Ben. You don't get what I'm saying.
But Mongol guys, do they use spears in the game?
All right.
Ben, just answer me that question.
Are they spearmen?
Mongol-
Are they called spearmen? Are they called spearmen? They're called.
Yes. Yes.
So then they would be able to use spears if the developers wished it. Does a halberd,
in the game,
does a
Andrew,
halberd
in the game,
function any
do
differently
they
from a
use-
spear?
Do they use spears or halberds? Answer
Are they
me
called
that, the
halberd men?
Mongols.
Are they called halberd men in the game? They're not. They're not. They're not.
Andrew,
See,
we're
can
not
just keep doing
talking
this,
about
Ben.
what they're called.
We
We're
can just
talking
keep
about what
doing-
they use.
But what are they called, Ben? What are they called?
Your point is so fucking retarded that
So
you're
is
retarded.
yours.
You're so fucking retarded. You're so fucking stubborn. It's not even funny, dude. Oh my god. Who the fuck cares what they're called? It's what they
Who cares
use.
what they're? Who cares
Because what they
only
use, what they show. Hey Marco, tell me I'm not the
What
dumbass.
limitations
Tell me.
are there
I
for them to
haven't
just
been
use
listening
spears?
for the past-
What
And you backed in
limitations
the
are
corner,
there?
so now he's telling me, but what are they called? Yes, Andrew. Okay, whatever. Mongols are called spearmen, but what are they using? A fucking halberd. So what's your point?
What's different
What's
from a
your point?
halberd other than the design? What's different from a halberd? Why couldn't they just use a spear? They could have just given the lowest rank guy a spear, and it would have made all the sense
Yeah, but
to
they
make
did
the
it,
icon a
Andrew.
spear.
They did it.
That's why I'm saying it's a coincidence. That is why, because
What?
they didn't do that.
Mongols
They would have been
use
so
halberds
easy.
in the whole
It
game.
would have been
Andrew,
so easy, though, Ben.
In the whole game, you don't see a single Mongol with a spear.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
You
That's my
agree with
point.
that? You agree with that? So why
Yes.
in the picture do they show a fucking Mongol halberd? 'Cause-
If they
so that right
wanted
there?
to make the triangle icon, why wouldn't they just make it a spear, but give the lowest rank Mongol guy a spear like the bandits?
Happy birthday, game.
It is a. Oh my god.
No. Like, what the fuck? Halberd, Mongol weapon. Those are all Mongol weapons, that's why I show a halberd as a fucking triangle.
But Ben,
What's your point?
Ben, my point is that my logic of thinking is that it would be so easy for them to just give the guy a spear and make it a spear, and it would have made complete sense. It would have been just as easy
Give what
to give the
guy
guy
a spear?
more. To give the Mongol guys a spear.
Yeah, but they didn't do that because they're Mongols.
That's why I'm saying
Mongols
it's a
don't use
coincidence.
spears.
Mongols use spears, dude. All civilizations use spears. Spears aren't special. Halberds are
Yes,
more
I
advanced.
know. I'm talking about the game, Andrew. Mongols don't use spears in the game.
That's why I'm saying
Don't
it's a
bring
coincidence.
civilization history into this.
That's why I'm saying it's a coincidence.
What's a
You know,
coincidence?
it's a coincidence because if they wanted to make a triangle, they could have easily just made it a spear and given the guys a spear.
No,
If it was that
because
easy, if
Mongols
it was that
don't
easy.
use spears. That's why they show a
That's why I'm
halberd.
saying it's a coincidence because they chose not to do that when they could have easily done it. Why make it so complicated to make
They're
points?
trying to get some classification in this bitch. Mongols use halberds. They show a halberd. They're not going to make it a spear because Mongols don't use spears.
I acknowledge
That's
that
how
they
they made
don't.
it in the game. That's how they did it.
That's why I'm saying it's not intentional.
What's not intentional?
The fucking button alignments.
A button alignment? What else would the fucking halberd go for? An X? That makes no sense.
Why do
They're
they
gonna
have
make
any
the point.
meaning in the first place?
What?
Why do they have any meaning in the first place, Ben?
What do you mean?
That's
why
what
they
I'm
have any
arguing
meaning?
for. That's what I'm arguing. That they don't have any meaning in the first place. So why would they give it the meaning without actually
Andrew,
making
if
it
all four
apparent?
classifications go towards what they are the most, you're calling that a coincidence?
That's why. All right. Listen. All right. I understand what
No.
you're saying. I completely understand what you're saying. But listen to me. Listen to me. Okay.
I'm listening.
If they. Okay. Please don't interrupt me. Please don't interrupt me. And I understand if you don't understand this. So, I understand the X, like the swords or whatever, and the circles, completely whatever. Yes, they do align. But if they wanted to make them all align, why not make them as apparent as the X and the circle button? And I know what you're gonna say is because Mongols don't use spears. But my point is that if they could have made it just as apparent as the other two, why not by just making it a spear and giving the enemies a spear? But because they didn't do that and making it so apparent, why are you giving it that intentionality to it? If they didn't go through that small hoop to make it more apparent, why? What gives you the idea that they chose to make the X button and the circle button so apparent when they could have done it for the other two, but they chose not to? It's because it was an oversight and they didn't actually do it intentionally. That is my line of thinking.
So you're saying they're gonna give Mongols in the game a spear just because of the stance icon, just to make it look better, just for that one reason?
If they wanted, if they're gonna change the way the swords look, why not do it for the spear too? It would
Because
make
they'd
just as
have
much
to
sense.
give Mongols spears.
What stops them from doing so? Spears are way less advanced, and it wouldn't have changed the game at all.
Because Mongols use halberds. That is why.
That was their choice to do, but it wouldn't have made any less sense to give the lowest ranked guys a spear to make it make sense for the thing if it was that intentional.
Mongols use halberds. They don't use spears in the game. That's why they show a halberd for the triangle and not a spear.
But the halberd's not a triangle, so it doesn't make sense then.
A halberd is a point. It has a point. That's why it's a triangle.
But it's not a triangle. It's a cone. It's not a triangle, Ben.
Okay, so you've brought it all dwindled down. Oh no, it's not a cone. It's a cone. It's not a triangle.
They could have just made it a spear if it was that intentional. They could have just made it a spear. They could have just made it a spear. But because they didn't, it's not intentional.
I am not talking
because
stubbornness.
You're literally just saying the same point that they don't use halberds, but it's not. There's no greater power holding them to only use a halberd. They could easily just made it a spear and given the guys a spear.
They're not going to change the game mechanics of the people of what they use.
It wouldn't have changed anything. The Japanese guys who use spears behave no differently than the guys who use halberds.
Andrew, Mongols use halberds. They don't use spears. The bandits, they use spears. That's how they made the game.
A fucking Mongol could have. Yeah, and guess what? And guess what, Ben?
What?
They made the game in a way to where the buttons are not as apparent in the triangle and the square formation. So therefore, if they didn't make them as apparent as they could have, then why
Andrew,
do it at all?
It is really apparent. You can tell. Clearly.
You're reaching for it, though. You are really reaching for it.
How am I reaching? How am I reaching? A halberd is a spear, triangle, point. How is that reaching?
Because it's not a fucking. Okay. You know what? Here's what I'll say.
The top of a halberd is a point, just like a triangle.
Ben, listen to me. So the X button and the circle button are so pronounced, right? You would be a retard to not catch those, right?
Sure.
Then why not? Then why wouldn't they make the triangle one and the square button just as apparent? Why?
Because they're Mongol.
Who fucking cares if they're Mongol, dude? Spears don't. It wouldn't have made any difference if they wanted to do it that way.
Yes.
No, it wouldn't. So you're telling me that if the red guys, that if the red guys who wear red that are the lowest rank can just use a spear?
You can't fuck up on not making the circle apparent. It's a shield. Andrew, that's pretty much like saying that. The circle. Oh, why'd they make the edges? You can see that's the same thing. Pretty much what you're saying. The shield. Why are the circles on the side of the shield? Why are they cut off? It's not.
Because they made it more accurate. Because they made it. I'm acknowledging that yes, the circle is accurate. But why not just go that extra step in giving the lowest ranked Mongol guy a spear and making it that much more accurate and making it look more like the arrow icon?
I don't know what you're talking about. Angie,
But
what
you're
you saying?
reaching for it.
How come, Angie? Let me say this. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. The circle, the shield. Why?
Yeah.
Why didn't they just make it a full shield? Huh? Instead of
Because they wanted to make it accurate. Because they wanted to make it accurate. But guess what, Ben? They could have made the triangle just as accurate if they gave the guy spears.
They're not going to give Mongols spears
Why not?
just to make
Why
it
not?
fitting the icon.
Why not?
Because
Why not?
Mongols
Why not?
use
Why not?
halberds. That's why.
Because of the game.
Exactly.
There's no direct evidence to say that Mongols in the entirety use spears when they could have easily just done it. That's why it's a coincidence.
Mongols in fucking entirety use halberds.
In the entirety of the game.
Yes. Exactly.
Then why not just give them a spear? Who cares? Who cares then? Who cares? They could have
done it. What's your point?
Why didn't they? If it was planned out, why didn't they just do it? Why didn't they just do it? It would have stopped this entire argument if they had just done it. But they didn't. Why not just do it? If they're gonna make this, if they're gonna make the swords inaccurate to make it an X, why not do it for the spear?
Angie, you have one sword. They're gonna add two swords, make it an X. You have a circle. They have a Mongol shield. You want to wear that cut off on the edge? Huh? Because it's a Mongol shield. They have
No shit's a Mongol shield. So then why not just give a Mongol spear then? Huh? Why not just give a Mongol spear and make it the thing? But they don't fucking use halberds. They use them in the game.
Marco, do you see this? Do you see this?
I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not. I refuse to say anything.
Yeah.
I
want you to know
we're
Marco's
both morons.
I want you to know that.
You guys
You're making
are
some stupid-ass points.
Oh
You're constantly getting hung up on the one statement that said Mongols use halberds, but there's nothing restricting them from using spears.
Why didn't they add spears? Huh?
Exactly. Why didn't they? Why didn't they?
Because Mongols use halberds.
It wasn't planned. Because it wasn't planned, Ben. It wasn't planned. I'm done with it. It wasn't planned because they didn't use spears.
It makes no sense.
I'm making 100% sense. It is. If I were to draw this out on a map for you, any reasonable person would be like, yeah. If they made the X button, if they made the X button and the circle button so apparent, why wouldn't they just make the triangle button so much more apparent? Why wouldn't they give the guy a giant plate of armor like they actually do in the actual enemies? But they don't. They just make it.
They're not going to draw up what enemies use the whole game just because of the fucking pictures. That's just stupid, idiotic.
You just proved it. You just said that.
No,
why would they draw them up like that if it wasn't intentional?
They're going to make it fittingly nice. Let me tell you what this whole point fucking originated off. Marco was like, X's, double swords, circle, shield, triangle, point, brute, square. That's nice. It's fitting. It's nice that way. They did that on purpose. You're saying, no. That's just a coincidence. How is that a coincidence?
Because only the X button and the circle button actually match if you're just looking at the icon.
Yes. So the triangle and brute. So the halberd would have been more nicely with the square. No.
I'm saying that it wasn't intentional, Ben.
It was intentional. How do you do that on accident? You don't.
Just a coincidence. It's just a coincidence.
That's not a coincidence.
Then why didn't they do that for any of the other things? Why didn't they do it for the throwables? Why didn't they do it for anything else? Huh?
What are you talking about?
Why? Well, when you hold down L2 and you go to your throwables, why don't they make the switchable throwable items into the icons then, huh? If they wanted to make it that way, why didn't they do it for everything? But because
if
they didn't.
They did, that would be really overfetched.
But then why would they do it for the main thing? Why?
Because it's the stances. Now you're overreaching.
No, you are.
No, I'm not.
You are trying to prove something, which means that you need definitive fucking evidence that it's there. I don't. I just need to disprove one single factor to make it not true. You need definitive evidence, and you don't have definitive. Yes, I have. I'm saying that if they went to the effort of making straight swords for that, when the things are straight,
and that effort takes a simple design, and that's what they did. Simple.
Then they could have easily made the
triangle
button a better design.
And now you're asking for them to give Mongols spears just for that? No.
Because it wouldn't have changed the gameplay at all. It literally wouldn't.
No, because Mongols don't use spears. They use fucking halberds. That's what they did.
Because they chose that. Because they chose. There's no difference between a spear and a halberd.
And that's why it shows a halberd picture.
But it wouldn't have changed the game in any way.
Why in the picture? Why does it show a halberd on a spear?
Why go through the effort of making them match if they're not going to make it accurate?
Why did you show a halberd and not a fucking? Why did you show a halberd and not a fucking spear?
Because it wasn't intentional.
Because it wasn't intentional. They just put a random halberd there.
They put the halberd there because it represents the wind stance, the thing that they are the thing that most spearmen use because they're spearmen.
They're Mongols.
Oh yeah, also, hey, if you actually hold down, if you're in like a weird stance, you can actually flick up your blade by moving your controller. So that's cool, I guess. That's
Your
weird.
voice is fucking
And you're
John.
losing your
Yeah, I
voice
know.
because you're fucking screaming. Jesus Christ.
Well, it's because Ben's fucking hung up on the stupid. Like, all right, Marco, Marco, please, can I just ask you this one thing?
I want
please,
you to know
please,
this right now.
please.
Marco's 100% agreeing with everything I'm saying. He thinks you're an idiot, but he doesn't want to say
Okay.
anything because I respect that.
He probably thinks
I
you're an idiot
respect
too. So, all right, Marco.
No. He's
Marco,
definitely agreed with me. He
let
just
me
doesn't wanna say
throw something to
anything.
Marco
I
real
can
quick.
promise you
Let me
that.
throw something to Marco real quick. All right. All right. So, I can acknowledge that they could have proposed. They could have possibly made it whatever. Like I don't.
All
deny
I was
that's
saying
not
was
that's
that
not the
they
case.
resemble it.
Yes, you can get that by the logic that you're thinking, but let me prove something to you. If somebody at the dev team was like, hey, we think it'd be really cool if we made it to where the icons of the different stances match the button that they're aligned to.
Yes.
And so they're like, all right, well, you know, the main weapon of the wind stance or whatever, it's effective against spears. They're spearmen or whatever. So this halberd thing, it doesn't really match what a triangle looks like, but
Yes,
a spear
it does. It has a point.
But,
it has a point.
But it's not the main
sharp point
icon,
up
Ben.
top.
But it's not the main icon like the other ones are.
Wait, how's it not the main icon?
Because it only takes up about like a fifth of the image, whereas the other ones are the entire centerpiece.
A triangle points up, it has a point. A halberd is pointing up, has a point.
But
upwards.
Ben, you're hinging on the fact that the other ones are so apparent, and that they were doing it intentionally. So why not just make it intentional? Why not make it apparent that it is intentional? If they were like, hey, this halberd thing, it doesn't really match the triangle shape, but a spear easily does. However, the main enemies of the game, the Mongols, don't use a spear. Why don't we just, if we want to do this, why don't we just give them spears for like the lowest level, because like it doesn't really matter. They could have easily done that, and they made it a spear, and it would have made complete sense. But they didn't do that. So to me, and to any common person that legitimately looks at it factually and logically, they would say, oh, because this little effort wasn't put in the game, chances are it wasn't legitimately intentional, because it's reaching in a stance. If you are trying to prove something as being legitimate, you have to prove it 100% beyond deniability, and I have made a deniability as to why it wouldn't be in the game, because if it was, they would have changed it in that way to make it just that much easier, and it wouldn't have changed anything about the legitimate game. So therefore, you're up until this point, up until there has been any legitimate evidence from either a dev team member or just any more
it's just a
apparentness.
coincidence.
Yes, I do. I do think it's just a coincidence. Completely.
Wow. Then
That's what it
then
said
all
from
I
the
have to say
very
to you,
beginning.
sir, is wow. That's all I gotta
Ben,
say.
if somebody were to ask the actual dev team, or anybody that worked on the game, that if it was intentional, and you were to bring me that tweet, I would be like, alright, I was completely wrong, whatever. They decided to make a choice.
Yeah,
Boo-hoo,
so
whatever.
you just
But
like
there's
that,
no
yeah.
legitimate proof for that. There's no... that you propose proof to me, because no matter what you say...
So you want fucking 100% proof. You want proof from the
Yes.
actual devs.
Yes, I do.
Okay, yeah, so you're stubborn.
How am I stubborn? I've just explained to you why, to me, in my personal thing, why they wouldn't just make it, that, because it would have made so much more sense if they just did that. But they didn't. So it just...
It's just like, it's so obvious you don't need proof.
But it's not. Then why didn't you see it before Marco pointed it out to you? Why didn't you see it before then? Huh? If it's
I
so
just didn't
apparent.
pay attention, that's why.
No, because it's not apparent, Ben. You had somebody.
It's
You needed
easily
somebody
apparent.
to spell it out for you. You need somebody to spell it out for you. It wasn't apparent to you.
It
wasn't apparent
it's
to anybody.
pretty apparent.
No, it
I just
it
didn't
really
connect.
isn't. No,
Yes, it is.
because Ben, if it was so
X,
much apparent to you
and
that
you
that
look
the
at
brute
it.
is so boxy, you would have made that assumption by yourself instead of having somebody lay it out for you.
Hey, Marco, Marco, is your time? Kick in.
I can't do that. I'm not
You
going
can
to.
clearly fucking tell. You can just clearly tell.
You
X,
have no evidence, Ben.
Two swords, X. Circle, it's a round shield. Triangle, oh, it's a point. Square,
That's not a
blue,
triangle, though.
boxy.
That's not a triangle. That's not a triangle. The,
No, it's not a triangle.
the X and
Oh,
circle
wow.
line
Wow.
they are X's
Wow.
and they're circles. Therefore, that's not a triangle. That doesn't count. Discussion
Oh, it
ended.
doesn't count.
Discussion ended.
Okay.
Shut up. Just shut up. I don't believe it. You do. Just shut up. It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Just shut up. God.
You are a piece of work, you know that?
You're just as fucking crazy as me. You're fucking
I'm
you're
not.
arguing for something that doesn't
you're just
exist.
a lot more
You're
stubborn.
arguing for something that doesn't exist. No, you're just as stubborn.
Oh,
then.
and you are? You are agreeing
You're
to
just
the
as stubborn
exist?
then. You're just as stubborn.
is a clear connection. It is a clear
There's
connection.
not! There's not!
Okay, so where would they put the brute then, Andrew? Tell me where they put the brute. Tell me where
They
they
put
the
him
brute.
in the button that was left. That's where
Yes.
they put him. They
Why-
put him in the button that
and
was left.
How come they didn't put it in just a circle? Oh, just because it's
It's
a
just a
progression
coincidence.
system.
They didn't plan anything out. They
It is
didn't.
a Andrew, you
Ben,
can't have everyone match up and have that be a coincidence. You can't have
The
everything
spear
match up.
doesn't match up though.
It's a point. Are you saying it's not a point?
It's not as apparent as the other one. So if they're gonna make the other two apparent, why not make the
Alright,
other two
spear,
apparent?
halberd, whatever the fuck it is, they have points, right? They have points. How come does an X have a point? Does a circle have a point? A square have a point? No, a triangle has a point. That's why it's at the top.
You're literally saying that because it fits in the same order, it has to make sense when it just doesn't. You're just reaching for stuff, Ben.
I am not reaching for things.
You
Andrew,
are!
Come on. Where else does a spear belong if it's not a triangle?
They just put it in the buttons they put it in. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
but Andrew, but where does a spear belong if it's not the triangle?
Ben,
But
have
Andrew,
you ever heard of?
let me ask you that. I'm
Have
literally
you ever heard of
debunking
Occam's razor? Have you ever heard of Occam's razor?
I don't give a fuck what you're about to say. I really don't.
That in a situation like this, the simplest solution is most likely the correct solution, and the simplest solution is that it just
It's
doesn't
an
matter.
obvious decision.
It isn't though.
Why are the
You're-
swords
you're
straight,
just
Andrew?
as-
Why
you're-
are the swords straight? To look just better as an X, right?
It wouldn't make any difference if they were curved though. If they just used the main weapons that the
Andrew,
most
but
of the sword guys used.
why'd they make the sword straight?
Why'd they make it?
Why'd they make the sword straight? I'm honestly curious to why you think it is.
Why did they give the brute guys a sash right there when they don't have one in the game?
Andrew, why
did they give the
why are
sash guys an
swords
X on their thing
Hey,
when they don't have an X?
Andrew, why are the swords
Why
straight?
did they give the brute guys an X?
Andrew,
Why did they give
just
the brute guys
answer
an
my
X, man?
question, for fuck's sake.
You
Answer my
went to mine.
question.
I'm saying that
I
I'll
asked
say
you
it again.
first, bitch.
It doesn't matter.
I asked
They
you first.
made it straight because it doesn't matter.
Hey, because it doesn't matter. That's why they made it straight. When no sword in the game is straight.
Why did they give the brute the X thing when there's no brute with an X on him?
He's a
Why is there no
he's a
brute with an
square.
X?
He's a boxy, burky, blurky guy.
That's not an X though. That's not an X. Where'd the X come from? Huh?
Andrew,
You don't have
the
an answer for that
armor.
because they wasn't planned. You don't have an answer for that because it wasn't planned, man.
Andrew, I'm debunking your theory right now.
No, you're
I
not.
want you to answer it. I want you to answer it. Will you or will you not answer it?
What is your question?
Alright, why are the swords straight? If no sword in the game is straight to you.
All right. Because it doesn't matter. It's the same reason.
No. it
Why
doesn't
they gave the
matter.
brute
But
guy
wait,
an
Andrew,
X?
But why did the design team? Why did they say, hey, let's make these swords straight? Why did they do that?
Why did they decide to give the
Andrew,
brute guy an X
hey,
thing on his
Andrew,
thing?
why are you not answering my question? You're clearly
Why aren't you
dodging it.
answering mine?
Andrew,
Because I already answered it.
Andrew.
Because it doesn't matter.
Andrew.
Because I didn't think about it. Because I didn't think
Morons,
about
see
it.
this? He's not answering it. Hey, Andrew, just answer this.
I just
for
answered
fuck's
it.
sakes. No, why'd they make the sword straight? Answer me. If you won't answer it, then I will clearly just go by saying I won this forever.
Because
Why'd they make the sword straight?
Because it doesn't matter. They didn't make them.
Because
it
no,
was just-
Andrew, why'd they make the sword straight?
Because swords are often straight.
Yeah, but in this game they're
Swords-
not. So why'd they make it straight?
I don't know
Because
why they made them straight.
it's
but
better
all right,
looking as an X.
Then why
You
did they
are-
give the
do you-
brute the X on his
Do you not
dash?
think? Do you think they didn't make it straight because it's better looking as an X? Do you think they didn't do that?
Why does the brute look better with
Hey,
a giant
Andrew,
sash on his
just answer
thing?
the fucking question for fuck's
You
sake,
aren't answering
please.
mine though, so why should I answer yours?
Okay,
You
I'm
are
done.
completely
I am
denying
done.
everything.
I am done. You are denying everything, you hypocrite.
You're fucking because
Okay,
I don't need
answer
to, I
your
don't need to
question
prove
if you
it.
answer mine. How about that?
I'm not
You
proving
promise?
anything.
You promise?
Yeah, sure. I already answered it
Alright.
because it doesn't matter. It doesn't
Because
matter. That's
it-
why they made it that.
That doesn't answer shit.
You're
You
only
stupid.
looking for one answer. You're only looking for one answer, and
No,
it's
I'm
not
not.
the correct answer.
I'm looking for the only logical answer. That's what I'm looking for.
So it was logical to give it a halberd when they could have just given it a spear. Yeah, you were just running in circles, Ben. It doesn't matter.
Oh
just
my
just
God.
accept that. It doesn't
Andrew,
matter.
Just answer my fucking
I
question.
already did.
It doesn't matter. Is not an
already did.
answer. That's just dodging it.
How is it dodging it if my argument is
You
that,
can say
that
you're,
it's just
Andrew,
all
doesn't matter.
coincidence?
That's answering it. What?
Yes.
That's not answering it. That's not answering. You can answer it doesn't matter to fucking anything. It's not the answer.
My reasoning
Hey, what's
that I
1 + 1?
see.
It doesn't matter. What? That's not the.
That's not
what?
the thing. We are arguing over mathematics that is a set law in the world. That's
But
completely
Andrew,
different.
Why are the swords straight? Just answer me that.
Because it doesn't
no
matter.
sword in the game is straight, why'd they make these two
Why
clashing
did they give
swords?
the brutes
whatever,
a giant
why'd they make a
sash on
sword?
their chest?
Because it's their armor.
No,
That's
it's
why.
not. Their armor
Yes,
doesn't
it
look like
is.
that. Their armor doesn't look like that though. They have the same plating as the rest of them. It's just bigger. It's not an X. It's just a giant plate.
What does it matter if they have an X on their chest? It's a square brute.
They aren't square though.
The guy in the picture, he resembles a square. Do you want me to draw it out for you?
No, he doesn't.
Do you want me to draw it out for you?
I'm looking at it right now, Ben. That's not a square.
What is it?
That's a fucking rectangle.
It's a rectangle.
It's a rectangle with arms and a head.
That's probably why they did the. That's probably why they did the X's. That's probably why the X's. It's the four corners of the square. It's a square armor. That's probably why they did it. Right there.
No, it's not.
That's probably why. Yeah.
All right. Well then. Well,
that's why the X's. It's a square armor plate, so the X's mark the corners of the armor.
Ben.
Right there. I just proved your point. Now answer mine. Why are the swords square? Why did the design team do that?
Why
they're square?
Well, then why didn't they make the halberd more better for a triangle? If you're saying that they made them straight for just the purpose of being an X, why didn't they make the halberd thing more of a triangle? Even so, even if you're gonna argue that whatever halberd, why didn't they at least zoom in so that you can actually see the point more definely? In fact, if anything, if I'm looking directly at it, it's not even a point. It's not even a point. It's just a straight rectangle. It's just a straight rectangle. If anything, it doesn't even look like it's an actual point.
Yeah,
that point takes up literally.
They're stabbing each other. They're stabbing each other with a rectangle. Is that what you're saying?
That point.
Point.
It's a rectangle with an itty bitty cone on it. An itty bitty cone that takes up legit 5% of it. It takes up 5%. So why does it matter if the X is so straight? If that's going to take up such a little amount of stuff.
You want to know why? They made the X straight so it better fits as the X design.
Then why wouldn't they make the triangle better fit?
Because it's a point.
It's not though. But if they're gonna make the X so apparent, why not just make the triangle so apparent, Ben?
Because they want to show the halberd, they want to show the shield, they want to show.
But they didn't have to. But they didn't have to. But they didn't have to, Ben. They could have done it. They could have done it a million other ways, but they decided to do it this way. That doesn't make any sense. It's just a random chance. It's just a random chance.
I don't know. You won't agree with me. You won't say anything.
You won't agree with me.
It is pointless because it's what you're saying is.
I have a video clip of you saying that it doesn't matter. I have a video clip of you legit admitting that I'm right.
Was saying you're right? No, just me done with your bullshit, probably.
No, I'll legit play it for you.
Oh my god, and you are so fucking stubborn. Holy fuck! Oh, I have a video clip of me saying it doesn't matter. Oh, okay. You are a stubborn prick.
I do. Well. Ben,
Jesus
we're not getting anywhere.
Christ.
I tried to just don't mention it from now on. Just who cares? The way that I see it, the entire argument,
provided a lot of evidence.
But it's not. It is simply you speculating. That's all it is. It is speculation. There's no 100% deniable proof that it is this way. So therefore, you cannot 100% prove it in anyone's mind.
From what me and you have said, you do agree more.
I don't even know what the fuck you guys have been saying. Like I don't know what you want me to say, because like you guys are both just saying the same thing over and over again. Josh is something cool. I sent him a picture of this. I sent him a picture of the symbols and drew the PlayStation icons around it, and he said he said this is what he said. Don't fucking interrupt me, please. It's gonna take me 15 seconds if even. He said that's probably a coincidence. He said that's wait. But then he asked, is it a PlayStation exclusive? And I said yes. Well, then he said it might not be a coincidence because they're designing it around the PlayStation itself.
Oh, look at that.
But the first thought was a coincidence. So.
but he gave it a deeper thought, and that's okay too. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to think. That's all. That's I don't know. You guys both say some pretty good things. I
didn't even think about that. PlayStation exclusive, just for these controllers. I literally that's another great point to design around the buttons. It's another great point to do.
That was the first thing Marco said. If you were ignoring it the entire time, that was the first thing Marco said when he mentioned it the first time. It was the first thing he said.
Okay, what's your point there?
My point is that right now you're acknowledging it now as if you didn't already know it, and you're trying to make that a new point.
No, I didn't even think about that. It's a great point. Great point, Marco.
I would. It literally doesn't. It's not.
That's a great point. Oh, we're making it only for this controller, only for this platform. Oh, a bit more oof to it.
Yeah. And let's make the triangle, but a thing that you can like barely see if you just kind of squint real hard. Yeah. It's fucking dumb. It's dumb.
Yeah, they should have made the.
I'll admit.
They should have made the pointed halberd as a circle because it's round. You know, shit like that.
My point is, Ben, the entire thing is that it can just be chalked up to a coincidence. You're legitimately
My point is that I know for a fact
you are
it's not a
using
coincidence.
argumentative methods that conspiracy theorists who are schizophrenic use, Ben. You are using argumentative methods that are just pure speculation. No, that's legitimately what you're doing.
You're using corner dog methods. That's what you're using.
That's fucking hilarious.
Agreeing with you is literally the fucking worst.
Ben, you need to acknowledge something real quick.
Never.
Ben, you need to acknowledge something real quick.
What?
You are trying to prove a point to me, right? That's what you're trying to do. That's your whole goal, is to prove a point to me that these things are intentional, right?
Sure.
With that,
actually, that's not my.
No,
my whole point was
that's what you were doing.
Okay, fuck it, whatever.
Right? Okay, Marco. Do you deem that? What was this?
I don't give a fuck. I just said,
if not,
all I said
was
was that they resemble
point?
the buttons. I don't know, Andrew. You fucking argue with him. I'm not.
Well, alright, Ben. Then what was your point? What was your entire point then?
My whole point was trying to prove to you that it's not fucking. What you're saying is not a coincidence.
But in turn, you were trying to prove to me that it is real. Correct?
Sure.
By attempting to prove this concept, in order to prove it as undeniable fact, you need 100% fact, right? That is how you prove stuff, right?
No.
You use fact. Yes, you do. Okay, so I can just prove something without fact?
I'm just trying to prove to you that it's more real than a fucking coincidence, and you still think it's more of a coincidence than real.
Because that is the simplest explanation. That is the simplest explanation. That is just a coincidence.
It's like you're gonna think it's a coincidence even with like 5% of it not being real.
Because half of it doesn't match for me. Half of it does not match.
More than half matches.
No, it doesn't.
Yes,
it doesn't.
Okay. What's more than half? I'm confused. What's more than half?
All right, Ben. All right, you know what? Screw this. Let me give you a perspective swap, okay? Let me give you a perspective swap. So right now, you are looking at a jigsaw that is almost completely filled in, and you have two pieces that are the exact same pieces, and you are putting them in the exact same two pieces. But the thing is, you are looking at it as if it is a complete puzzle. The way I am looking at it, as if it is a collection of different puzzles that I'm just like, oh, these don't really go together. Some bits do, some bits don't. So therefore, these don't go together. But you're seeing it as, oh, these two fit, so therefore the entire thing must go together.
More percentage points towards it being real than a coincidence.
But that's not how it really works. It has to be all or nothing for this type of stuff. It's the same way. It's the same way that
so what percentage?
a court case.
What percentage of this do you think it's real?
I'd say that I give it about a 50%, just because the X and the circle button are undeniable. It could completely be those. But with the square and the triangle, it is just too much speculation on anyone's part to confirm it. How is it not?
I see a square. What do I think of? I think of a brute. Triangle, I think of a point.
No, you don't. You are only saying that because somebody told you to. Yes.
No, I don't.
It is literally.
When I see a triangle and I think of the weapons in the game, I think of a pointy weapon. What's a pointy weapon? A spear, a halberd. That's what I think of. That's why it's probably there. That's what I'm thinking.
But you're only thinking of that because somebody pointed it out to you.
What's a brute? I think of like a bulky, strong guy, and that's a square. I don't see a circle resembling that. I don't see anything else.
If you see a giant dude, you're not going to see a square.
Oh my god. I have nothing to say to you, mate. I have nothing to say to you.
You are looking at it as if you have to complete something, whereas I am not looking at it as if I have to complete something. The way that this stuff works. The way that this stuff works is that you need to prove it beyond undeniable doubt, just like a court case or whatever. You have to prove that it is 100% guilty. If it is not 100% guilty, it's just not that. It's just a coincidence in the eyes of the law. It's the same way with this.
So if it's 95% true, it's not true because it could be 5% coincidence. It's undeniable. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, and until somebody actually confirms it, us arguing back and forth isn't going to prove it. It just isn't. Until somebody actively says something.
99.99% true. No, could still be that 1%.
It's not though. It's not though. But you're saying that it could be, and you're trying to say that it is that way, but it isn't.
I'm saying it's like everything leads to it being true rather than.
But it doesn't. There are direct other avenues that you are completely ignoring that prove to it not being that case, and you're just ignoring them.
I give you so much evidence.
But there isn't. You are looking at it in a perspective that mirrors it. You are that Uncharted 3 puzzle where you hold the light in a certain way to line up all the stupid arms and stuff to where it fits in that exact perfect replica of the stupid animation of the guy getting stabbed. That is what you are doing.
It's like.
I'm trying to give you so many analogies to understand your perspective and how ours differ. I don't care that you see it that way. I don't care, but it's not.
I see 4 buttons. I see 4 different weapon classifications. Why'd they all put them in such a way where they're fitting to each other? Why'd they do that? Because, you know, it's fitting. It's nice. It's a lot better. That's no coincidence. When they're making the symbols, you can't tell me they never thought about that and thinking it's a coincidence.
They probably didn't. Because half of them aren't as prevalent as the other two. You can argue if they aren't, but they aren't. But at the end of the day,
well, who the fuck cares if it's prevalent? Yeah. Say hi. Eastman? For us? That's good. Make some more YouTube videos. Like I said, who cares if they're prevalent? Yeah.
Because that shows intentional. That shows intention.
That shows
That's what we're arguing over. It shows intention. If it is more apparent, it shows intention behind it. Then.
So then why did they put the spears a triangle? Why are they all so fitting for each other? Every single one.
It's just a coincidence.
That's
just a coincidence that
you're
looking for.
They didn't make that as a coincidence. They did not make that as a coincidence.
Yes. From all the evidence that I'm seeing, that is the only way that I can see it without definitive proof.
Then I think you're just, I don't know. I just think you're dumbass.
I'm not. Ben, guess what? I don't. If somebody from the actual dev team were to say, hey, we did actually plan this or whatever, I'd be like, all right, whatever. That's proof there. That's all I wanted. But what you're presenting me, it isn't fact. It isn't fact. You are simply piecing things together. It's saying that it is what it is when it's not that. There's no real proof. It doesn't. It looks that way to you, but I can easily point out flaws in that thing that maybe to you they don't seem like flaws, but to somebody on the outside looking at it, not trying to prove that it is that way, it does not look like fact, or those flaws are apparent.
You're a bitch.
You're just as stubborn as I am. Because you spent the entire time that I spent arguing me, so therefore you are just as stubborn.
I bet.